December 2019, my uncle died in a murder-suicide. A year later, my mammal Jamie, his mom, would die in a car accident. So yeah, that picture is from when me and my brothers were younger. We was kids, and when he was in our lives. Um, he called children's services and got us taken away from our abusive mother, so he kind of saved us. He's like a hero. But yeah, that picture right there is old. This picture next is my mammal Jamie, who died a year later, him, and then my biological mom. So yeah. So early one December night in 2019, my uncle had a psychotic break. So he went to his ex-girlfriend's house where him and his ex-girlfriend and his daughter lived. So he went to their house in the middle of the night, broke in. An argument and a fight occurred between my uncle and his ex-girlfriend, and in the process, my uncle ended up shooting his ex-girlfriend, killing her. So yeah, I don't know if he shot and killed her while their daughter was on her lap, or if her daughter just, ran and got onto her mother's lap after she was killed. But their kid, my uncle's daughter, was covered in her mother's blood, covered in it. But anyways, my uncle, he called my mammal Jamie on the phone and he told her what he did, and she didn't believe him. She thought it was just one of his little, sometimes he has psychotic breaks. What if it was episodes? So yeah, she thought it was that. So she went over to the house where she discovered my uncle's ex-girlfriend dead on the chair. And yeah, my uncle and his daughter was nowhere to be seen. They had left the house. He had taken his daughter after killing his ex and then calling my grandma. He had taken his daughter and he had just started walking down the road in the middle of the night. So that picture was a picture of the house that it happened in. Like I said, he called his mom, which is my mammal Jamie, and he told her what happened. She came there because she didn't believe it happened, and then she stumbles upon the scene. And this is from a news clip, but it has a clip of her 911 call, and it's her who called. So this is my mammal Jamie.
Sir, I don't know the address. Someone had just called me and said there was something happened out here. It's the house right by Abe. The girl's laying in the middle of the floor.
The crime scene started at a house on US 50 in Hillsborough. Investigators say Joshua McLaughlin shot and killed 33-year-old Sherry.
So yeah, to be his mom and to witness that, it has to be a lot for her, my grandma, which it was. I mean, it was. But anyways, my uncle, he took his daughter, he left his house, he walked down the road, and he went to a church that was down the road. Here's a picture of his daughter and him. But anyways, the two of them, they go into a church. He breaks into this church because it's the middle of the night, but he breaks the window. He gets into this church with his daughter, and yeah. Breaks into the church. You can only imagine what goes on in this church. Only him and his daughter will ever know, probably, that what went on in this church. But yeah, at the end, he decided he was going to let his daughter go, so he did. He let her go. She immediately runs out of the church and into police and deputy hands where, they take the child to safety. And then my uncle proceeds to shoot himself inside of the church, and he dies.
You're my buddy. My buddy.
I don't hate him for what he did. Because I don't understand what he was going through and what was, going on. I seen him as a hero growing up. He saved me from my abusive mother. If it wasn't for him, I'd probably still be living with her. You know, like a lot of shit wouldn't, like, it would be totally different if it wasn't for him my whole life. You know, he called children's services on my mother, he got her arrested, and me and my brothers taken away from her. You know, he was just a good person, you know. You could tell he had some problems, but, you know, he was, you know, my uncle for the most part. Same way my Mammal Jamie felt. That's her son. So she don't hate him even after what he did, you know. She, you know, the day afterwards it happened, we got her Kentucky Fried Chicken, like, for dinner, which isn't a lot, but, you know, I mean, it's something just to show you, like, just to show her that we cared. But it's really sad. That was her son. She was heartbroken. She was crying. She had to see a lot. I felt bad. I didn't know what to do. You know, but what can you do? My Mammal Jamie struggled with depression for that whole year after he died. Her son died. She struggled with the PTSD and the trauma from it all. It was really bad. I lost touch with her. But I remember one time, I was hanging out with a bunch of crackheads, my uncles and my other aunts from like it's all my family from the other side of my family, because I have two sides of my family. With them, I was hanging out with them, drinking with them, like, you know, just being a mess. And yeah, I wasn't supposed to. I was still in high school at the time. I don't know why grown adults wanted to hang out with a high schooler, but yeah. Anyways, I was hanging out with them, and we was in town. We was passing by her house, so I was like, hey, let's stop by her house. Like, she probably got some weed. Like, we can smoke, you know, like, you know, have some fun. So we go to her house, and she did not, like, I don't know if it was the fact that her, like, grandson was hanging out with a bunch of grown adults and they was all drunk and acting a fool, or it was the fact that they was going through her house and just destroying everything in it, like knocking down pictures and just, I don't know, like, they was just, you know, doing too much. They was drunk, pissing her off. It was understandable. But yeah, I was like, we gotta go. And yeah, kind of my Mammal Jamie was like, yeah, you do gotta go. Well, anyways, these, like, adults that I'm hanging out with, they tried to, like, fight her, I guess. But my Mammal Jamie, she would have whooped all their asses. Like, she's crazy like that. She was about that. She was about to. But yeah, she told me that I'm allowed at her house anytime I want, but don't ever bring these people back to her house. And yeah, like, we left before a fight broke out, and that was the last time I ever seen her. She died months later in a car accident. Her and a bunch of other people she was hanging out with was driving, and they crashed their car, and it was horrific, and they all died. So yeah, my Mammal Jamie died a year after her son. I always thought it was, like, intentional, because, like, that's just too close, like, but you never know. I'm not gonna get into, like, you know, conspiracies and stuff like that, because this is my family and this is, like, my real life. But yeah, it's just too odd, too close. But they're both dead, and I love them and miss them both dearly. Dearly. Yep. I just miss everything about them. Everything about them.